Hey wine lovers, what's happening? As we're shooting this video, it's officially Beaujolais Nouveau Day. Now, some of you may recognize Beaujolais Nouveau as that simple, fruity red wine that comes to market every year around Thanksgiving. But that's not what we're here for today. I'm here to raise awareness about the other kind of Beaujolais, Beaujolais Cru, which is much higher quality, very desirable, and something every wine lover should know about. The wine region of Burgundy, France probably doesn't need any introduction. It's one of the most famous winemaking regions in the world. And just to the south of Burgundy is the humble Beaujolais. Now, Beaujolais is often appended to Burgundy for the sake of convenience, but it's actually its own separate wine region. Just outside of the city of Lyon and about 50 miles away from Switzerland, the region of Beaujolais grows a very unique grape called Gamay Noir. Now, Gamay Noir is an exile of sorts. It was banished from the region of Burgundy in the 14th century by Philip the Bold, mainly because he recognized that Gamay grew better in the granite soils to the south of Burgundy. So in a way, he was ahead of his time. So the Gamay Noir grape ultimately made its home around the town of Beaujolais, where the warm summers there ripened the grape to create those simple, easygoing red wines that we know to this day. But there's always an exception to every rule, and we find a mesoclimate in the foothills to the north that makes for wines of a much higher quality. These are 10 subregions that are known as the Beaujolais Cru. The Gamay grape tends to produce wines that are pretty fresh, acidic, and light in color, and the grape yields some very interesting aromas and flavors. Your typical Gamay wines are very perfumed and floral, with curious aromas and flavors of things like red roses, African violets, bananas, and even red beets. So most Beaujolais wines can be described as simple and drinkable, but these wines here are a cut above. In fact, the French have a really cool term for it, so French, gouléant, which means gulpable. This is Beaujolais Cru. And now that you know what that means, let's taste them. These wines are made by Pascal Aufranc in his humble farm setting in the village of Juliénas, which is named after the oak trees in the area. Pascal is a true small producer with just 25 acres of vines. Now, Pascal's wines are made partially with a very traditional method known as carbonic maceration, which means that the entire clusters of grapes are left in the vat to ferment inside the berry. This very unique method makes for wines that produce fruity, tropical qualities. Both of these wines are from the Beaujolais Cru region known as Juliénas. This is the 2017 Les Cerisiers from Pascal Aufranc, and it's named after the old cherry trees that are planted on the plot of 60-year-old vines. All right, let's get our swirl and our sniff on. It's really strong with cranberry and spice, which is one of the reasons why these Gamay wines are so fantastic with holiday dinners. That's fresh and fruity. There's this floral quality to it, but there is a savoriness there. Imagine baking a pomegranate. It's interesting because on the Pascal Aufranc website, they say that these grapes grow amongst the cherry trees and therefore the wine tastes like cherries and kirsch. That's a romantic notion, but there's no real proof that that phenomenon exists. But if you put your mind to it, you can imagine that this wine tastes a lot like cherries. So there it is, the 2017 Les Cerisiers from Pascal Aufranc, the beautiful Beaujolais Cru that starts out fruity and fresh, but shows some savory complexity to it as well. And it comes with a cool story. This is the 2017 Pascal Aufranc Probus from the Juliénas Beaujolais Cru region, and Probus is a Latin name that refers back to the Roman Empire. Let's give that baby a swirl. Right off the bat, this one is already smelling a lot more floral. It reminds me of roses. And something else I want you to take note of is the color of these wines. Both of them are very purple, which is a key feature of the Gamay grape. So it starts out with a lot of the signature qualities of Beaujolais, that floral fruitiness, but it goes a layer deeper here. I would call it herbal. It almost reminds me of Earl Grey tea. And there's this beautifully fragrant whiff of lavender in there that just transports me to somewhere sunny in the south of France. And at 14.3% alcohol, this one is a little bit more silky and has more body. This 2017 Probus from Pascal Aufranc is another example of how Beaujolais Cru can go a level higher. Like all quality French wines, Beaujolais benefits from food pairings. So we should talk about these new recipes that we have from Chef Tori Selin. The brie smothered potato gratin is a take on a famous French dish called tarte de flette. It's a very rich and creamy dish, and wines that are high in acids like these Beaujolais are great palate cleansers. And I mentioned earlier that one of these wines reminded me of pomegranates, so no coincidence, we have a pomegranate walnut stew. And what's even better is that it's made for the crock pot, which is super convenient. So for this holiday season, while it's perfectly acceptable for you to enjoy your Beaujolais Nouveau, now that you've tasted Beaujolais Cru, you can't untaste it. Drinking these wines is like enjoying a beautiful bouquet of holiday flowers delivered fresh from the south of France. Thanks for joining me for this weekly tasting, and as always, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the section below this video. I'm Marc Supsic. Cheers and happy holidays.